Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are immersing ourselves, really getting into the unique equation that is Trinidad and Tobago. It's a nation defined not really by a single experience, but by this really striking duality. It's a
Yeah.
country that kind of forces you to choose between two fundamentally different Caribbean realities.
It really is quite singular. I mean,
Yeah.
under one flag, you've got Trinidad high energy, industrial, the economic driver, fiercely creative. And then paired with that is Tobago, which is, well, it's your quintessential postcard perfect, super calm, really low key kind of escape.
Yeah, and when you say energy, we're talking a major global cultural hub here. This is the birthplace of the steel pan, that incredible layered sound, and definitely the host of the biggest, most vibrant carnival experience basically on the planet. It usually kicks off just before Lent, right?
Exactly. Trinidad is really where the nation works, where it argues, innovates, creates, all that stuff. Tobago, on the other hand, is where where it rests. So, for you, the curious learner, our core mission today is really to analyze this duality. Does needing two distinct steps logistically make it feel a bit disjointed?
Right, or does that radical difference in vibe actually deliver, maybe, the most complete, well-rounded Caribbean experience you could possibly get?
That's the key question, isn't
That's
it?
the crux of it. Is the payoff worth the hustle? So, our roadmap today. We'll guide you through those logistical splits. We'll analyze the really profound history that's kind of baked into the mind-blowing fusion cuisine,
Yeah.
highlight the specific cultural and natural must-sees, and yeah, ultimately deliver a verdict on what kind of traveler TNT is truly meant for.
Okay, let's start with the practical side then, the logistics of this duality. Because this trip, it starts differently than, most typical island getaways.
It really does. So if you're flying in from North America or Europe, chances are you're landing at Piarco International Airport, that's POS, just outside Port of Spain in Trinidad. That's the nation's main hub.
And right there, that's your first real taste of the contrast. When you land at POS, you don't get that sort of gentle, breezy, welcome to paradise vibe you might expect from an island built purely for tourism.
No, you land in what feels like a major commercial zone.
Exactly.
You feel that energy straight away. It's the energy of a real working city, a lot of it fueled by the nation's significant oil and gas reserves. Trinidad's economy is pretty diversified, quite robust actually, which means tourism, well, it plays a smaller role in its day-to-day function compared to many of its neighbors. It feels industrial, yeah, busy, vibrant, in a way that's, I found, immediately compelling, but maybe a little jarring if you're expecting instant beach relaxation.
Yeah, definitely sets a different tone. Now, in terms of getting there, flights are pretty readily available. You've got the national carrier Caribbean Airlines, plus the big players like American, United, British Airways. Typically, if you're planning travel outside of Carnival time, you can probably find round-trip tickets from, say, the U.S. East Coast for somewhere between maybe $500 and $900 USD.
Ish. Okay, but we have to put a big asterisk there, right? If Carnival is your goal, that price estimate, forget it.
Oh, absolutely. The whole dynamic just shifts completely. It's basically a non-negotiable logistical hurdle. If you are planning to jump into what they call the greatest show on earth, you really have to lock down flights and accommodation a full year ahead, minimum.
A whole year, wow.
Yeah, demand is global, supply is finite. So those basic costs, they often double, sometimes triple. It takes serious planning, serious budgeting, just to get access during that peak cultural moment.
Okay, so assuming you're there, maybe not during Carnival, you're on the ground in Trinidad. Now, the critical challenge pops up.
Hmm.
How do you actually experience both sides of this duality?
Sure, I'll
You
find
have to travel between Trinidad and Tobago.
Right. And you've basically got two main options. You can fly, or you can take the ferry. Now, most advice, pretty much all the sources we looked at, they lean heavily towards the plane.
Okay.
It's quick, it's efficient, like 25 minutes flight time on Caribbean Airlines, and surprisingly affordable too, usually around $50 USD round trip.
$50. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and the view you get coming into Tobago,
Oh.
it's spectacular. You go from the sort of green haze of Trinidad's hills to this unbelievable turquoise clarity around Tobago's coastline. It's quite the transition.
Okay. But I want to push back on that just a little bit. We're talking to a learner, someone maybe looking for maximum value, right? So why is the flight so recommended, even if the ferry is significantly cheaper? I mean, if you're a family of 4, maybe 5, saving, what, $200, $300 on that internal hop, that's not nothing. If someone's really trying to stretch the budget, what are the actual downsides of the ferry? Is it just seasickness, or is it like unreliable schedules, eating up your precious vacation time.
Ah, that's the crucial difference. It's the time tax and the reliability factor. The ferry itself takes 3 to 4 hours. That's already a huge chunk out of a potentially short trip, right?
Yeah, half a day gone.
Exactly. And crucially, our sources consistently point out the scheduling can be, well, let's say erratic, notoriously so sometimes. You might plan for a morning crossing, book it, and then find yourself delayed until the afternoon. It happens.
Okay, that throws a wrench in things.
Big time. Plus, the ride itself has a reputation for being rough, occasionally very rough. So it's not just uncomfortable, it could actually wipe you out for half a day afterwards.
Right. So it's less about the saving and more about the certainty of your plans.
Precisely.
Mhm.
Unless you have a very specific reason, like you need to transport a car, which the ferry is great for taking the flight, seems like a clear win. The convenience, the reliability, it just profoundly outweighs that small cost saving. It keeps your energy up for actually doing things.
Makes sense. Okay, so you've made the hop. Now, getting around on each island.
Yeah.
That strategy needs to change completely too, right?
Totally different ballgame. In Trinidad, especially around Port of Spain and the main commercial areas, the traffic is, well, it's legendary.
I've heard stories, sources called driving there needing nerves of steel. That sounds about right.
That's not an exaggeration, no. The driving culture is, let's call it assertive. The sheer volume of cars is huge, and gridlock is pretty common, especially at peak times.
So self-drive is maybe not the best idea.
We'd strongly recommend against it for most visitors. It's much better to rely on a reliable local ride-sharing. TTRS is a popular one, or just hire professional vetted drivers for your day trips. Trying to drive yourself just adds this unnecessary layer of stress onto what's already a pretty kinetic, busy experience.
Got it. Avoid the driving stress in Trinidad.
But then, the moment you touch down in Tobago, that whole dynamic flips. 180 degrees. Tobago is much smaller geographically, it's less dense, and it's much more geared towards tourism exploration.
So here, a car is actually a good thing.
Here, renting a car is almost essential, I'd say.
Okay.
The roads are way quieter, the whole pace is just meditative. And having your own wheels gives you that freedom, to seek out the little hidden coves, the quiet beaches away from the main resort areas.
Right, so if you don't rent a car in Tobago, you're kind of stuck in the main spots.
Pretty much, you'd be limiting yourself to the most popular, sometimes the busiest, areas like Crown Point. A car really unlocks the island.
Great. So lesson 1 is logistical compartmentalization.
Okay.
Plan for city movement, maybe ride shares in Trinidad.
Right.
And relaxed self-drive exploration in Tobago.
You nailed it.
Okay, let's dive deeper into this duality then. Let's talk about where you stay, where you anchor yourself, and crucially, what you eat. Because here's where it gets really interesting. The accommodation and the food. They tell the story of these islands maybe better than anything else.
Let's start with setting up base camp in Trinidad. First thing, you need to immediately park any expectation of those huge, isolated, all-inclusive Caribbean mega resorts. It's just not Trinidad's vibe.
Right, it's more about immersion.
Exactly. It's structured much more around guest houses, smaller boutique hotels, and Airbnbs. Places that kind of force you in a good way to engage with the local culture.
So if you want that kinetic energy, the restaurants, museums, the social pulse, Port of Spain is the spot.
Port of Spain is the hub, yeah.
Yeah.
You've got options, of course. There's the big, modern Hyatt Regency right on the waterfront, caters a lot to business travelers.
Right.
But for the traveler really seeking that authentic feel, we'd strongly recommend looking at guest houses in neighborhoods like Woodbrook. These are often these gorgeous, restored, colonial-style houses, really beautiful.
Ah, nice.
And staying there puts you within walking distance of Areopita Avenue. That's a major nightlife and dining strip. So you're right in the thick of it, surrounded by actual Trinidadian life, not sort of hidden away from it.
I like that. And what about escaping the city entirely in Trinidad? Is that an option?
Oh, definitely. For a very specific kind of traveler, there's the Asa Wright Nature Center Lodge. It's high up in the Northern Range Mountains. It's a really unique, very rewarding choice. You're literally staying and waking up inside this former cocoa, coffee, and citrus estate that's now a world-renowned nature sanctuary. You're fully immersed in the rainforest ecosystem.
Wow, okay. So city buzz or rainforest immersion in Trinidad. Got it.
Now, flip that coin to Tobago.
Yeah.
This is where that more traditional Caribbean relaxation model really kicks in. The general vibe is definitely more feet in the sand, cocktail in hand.
The classic image.
Yeah. The most convenient base, logistics-wise, is probably Crown Point. It's close to the airport, and it's walking distance to famous beaches like Pigeon Point and Store Bay. Here, you get the whole spectrum. bigger apartment hotels, some villas, a few traditional resorts. It's the easiest entry point if you just want immediate beach access and relaxation.
Okay, the easy option.
Right.
But what if you want something quieter? More off the beaten path in Tobago.
Well, for the traveler who's really prioritizing absolute tranquility, the real gems are probably in places like Black Rock or Castara. These areas tend to have smaller boutique eco-lodges, charming villas often built right into the hillsides, designed specifically for those amazing ocean views and a genuinely slower pace of life.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, the whole shift in infrastructure from Trinidad to Tobago is really noticeable. Fewer big concrete buildings, much more integration with the natural landscape.
Speaking of integration, let's talk food. Because if the culture is the heart of Trinidad, the food is its soul. Seriously, if there is one single, undisputed reason to just book this trip right now, it has got to be the street food scene. It's a masterpiece. Historically, culinarily, amazing.
It absolutely is. It's the ultimate fusion cuisine, really. It perfectly mirrors Trinidad's complex history, this incredibly powerful, beautiful blend of culinary threads rooted in African traditions, Creole cooking, major Indian influence, and Chinese migrations, too. It's all in there.
And we have to start with the king, the undisputed champion, doubles. For anyone listening who hasn't had the pleasure,
Yeah.
can you describe the magic of double?
Oh, doubles. Okay. So this dish is a direct result of the huge influx of indentured laborers brought from India after slavery was abolished. What it is, fundamentally, is two small, fluffy, slightly chewy deep-fried flatbreads. They're called bara. And these two pieces of bara cradle this generous, warm, savory filling of curried chickpeas, which are called chana.
But that's just the base, right? The real genius is in the assembly line.
Exactly. It's a handheld symphony. Once you have the bara and chana, it gets topped with this incredible array of sauces and condiments. You typically get a cool cucumber slaw, maybe a sweet mango chutney, a tangy tamarind sauce, and then the essential kick, a fiery pepper sauce. It all comes together, usually served folded in a square of wax paper.
And the experience of eating it?
It's complex. You get the soft, slightly sweet doughiness of the bara, then the earthy, savory depth of the chickpea curry, and then POW. This explosion of sweet, tart, spicy, fresh flavors all hitting you at once. Texture, flavor, it hits every single note. And the best part, it usually costs about $1, maybe a bit more now, but still incredibly cheap.
It's like high-level culinary art disguised as the simplest street snack. Unreal.
Totally, it's genius.
Okay, beyond the king, you'd absolutely have to explore the roti variations too. Even the names are fantastic.
Oh yeah, the names tell a story themselves. You've got bus up shut,
Which sounds like
busted up shirt. It's basically a phonetic take on how it looks. It's this flaky, shredded, torn-up paratha-style roti. The texture is incredible, perfect for just scooping up rich, delicious curries, chicken, goat, beef, veggie, anything.
an edible utensil.
Kind of. Then you've got del puri roti. This one's different. The flatbread itself, before it's even cooked, is stuffed with this thin layer of ground, seasoned yellow split peas.
Wow, inside the bread.
Right inside. So it creates this wonderfully textured, really savory wrap. It's a less flaky, more substantial, perfect for holding those big, generous portions of curry without falling apart.
These aren't just meals, are they? They feel like historical documents you can eat.
That's a great way to put it. They absolutely are. And look, no trip to Trinidad is truly complete without making the pilgrimage out to Maracas Bay. For one reason, bacon shark.
Ah, yes, the essential beach food ritual.
It's iconic. Traditionally, yes, it was fried shark meat. Nowadays, thankfully, it's often other sustainably sourced whitefish, which is great. And that perfectly fried fish is stuffed into this pocket of soft, slightly sweet fried bread, the bake. But the fish and the bread, that's only half the story.
Because the defining feature is the topping bar.
Oh, the topping bar. It's legendary. It's almost theatrical. You stand there at this counter, and it's just piled high with bowls of amazing stuff. Creamy garlic sauce, rich dark tamarind reduction, bright green cilantro chutney. They call it shadow Benny sauce. Different levels of hot pepper sauce.
Pineapple slaw too, right?
No.
Lettuce, tomato.
Pineapple slaw, shredded lettuce, tomatoes, sometimes cucumbers. You are literally the architect of your own sandwich masterpiece. You just load it up.
And the absolute peak travel memory, for me anyway, is eating this huge, probably messy, incredibly satisfying sandwich with your feet literally in the water, cooling off in the gentle surf at Maracas Bay. It's just perfect.
It's that perfect blend of high flavor, low formality culinary bliss. It really captures the Trinidadian spirit. And we haven't even properly mentioned the other street food heroes like fowlery, those little spiced fried dough balls, usually with a mango or tamarind dip.
foolery.
Mm.
And corn soup, that thick, hearty, savory soup you get late at night.
Yes, corn soup is essential. And callaloo, that classic creamy green stew made from dasheen leaves like taro, often with coconut milk, maybe some crab.
Oh, wow.
This is a cuisine of real substance, incredible depth, layers of flavor. It really stands apart in the Caribbean. You have to go hungry.
Okay, mission accepted. Go hungry, eat everything. Now that we've basically established the culinary pilgrimage is non-negotiable, let's talk other activities. Beyond the food, what's the big payoff for embracing the complexity and energy of Trinidad itself?
Well, while the city and the culture are incredibly vibrant, the nature in Trinidad is genuinely world class. It often gets a bit overlooked because Carnival casts such a huge shadow. But the Asa Wright Nature Center, it's just a phenomenal place for really immersing yourself in nature.
Even if you're not like a hardcore birder.
Oh, absolutely. Even if you don't know a toucan from a trugon. You just sit there on this wide wraparound veranda, maybe with a cup of their own locally grown coffee, and you're overlooking this incredibly lush valley, and there are dozens of feeders constantly buzzing with activity. I mean, we're not talking 3 or 4 hummingbirds here. We're talking hundreds, maybe thousands over the course of a morning.
Hundreds? Wow.
Yeah, species like blue chin sapphires, tiny little tufted coquettes. They're just flitting past your head constantly. It's a blur of iridescent color. It's mesmerizing.
I lost my C.
Oh, you regularly see bigger birds too, different kinds of trogons, toucans, honey creepers, manakins. And they have some really unique species like the bearded bellbird with its crazy call and the nocturnal oilbird, one of the only fruit-eating birds in the world that navigates by echolocation, like a bat.
That's wild.
It is, and they offer guided hikes too, which are great. They really focus on the specific ecology of Trinidad's northern range rainforest, so you get some real intellectual depth along with the amazing sights.
Okay, Asa Wright Center noted.
Yeah.
Back in the city, Port of Spain, you mentioned Queen's Park Savannah.
Yes, the Savannah. It's an absolute must-see. It's actually one of the largest city parks, technically a roundabout in the world. It's huge. And framing one side of it are the famous Magnificent Seven.
The Magnificent Seven. Sounds dramatic.
It kind of is. This is where you really appreciate the architectural weight of the island's colonial past. These are 7 incredibly ornate grand mansions, all built around the turn of the 20th century. And the amazing thing is, each one is built in a profoundly different, really elaborate architectural style.
That's what styles.
You've got French Second Empire, sort of Moorish Revival, Scottish Baronial, like a castle, German Renaissance, even a sort of French chateau style. It's like an architectural tasting menu right there on the edge of the park.
That sounds incredible. A real visual contrast to the modern city around it.
It really is. It's a fascinating history lesson written in stone, stucco, and ironwork.
Okay, and finally for Trinidad. You said you can't really understand the soul of the island without experiencing the steel pan.
You really can't. Even if you're not there for Carnival itself, you absolutely must try to find a local panyard where a steel pan orchestra is practicing. This happens year-round as they prepare for various competitions and events.
What's that experience like?
It's the ultimate sensory immersion. It's not just hearing music, it's feeling it in your bones. It's this profound, communal, incredibly layered percussive soundscape. Hearing the sheer power and resonance of dozens, maybe 100 steel drums playing together, the bright tenors, the deep basses, the strumming seconds, all in that focused, intense practice space. Yeah. It's honestly powerful enough to move you physically. It's the vibrating, audible soul of Trinidad right there. You have to seek it out.
Okay, Trinidad. Food, nature, architecture, music. Got it. Now, we hop on that quick 25-minute flight.
And instantly, everything changes. You land in Tobago, A&R Robinson International Airport.
Yeah.
And the minute you step off the plane, the whole infrastructure feels different. The whole rhythm just shifts down several gears. The vibe is just a deep, slow exhale.
Love that description.
The pace change is immediate, and it feels very intentional. Tobago is basically designed for relaxation and appreciating natural beauty. It relies on a completely different economic engine, fewer large-scale industries, much greater emphasis on smaller, local businesses, catering specifically to that traditional beach and nature traveler.
So if Trinidad is kinetic energy.
Tobago is elemental tranquility, pure and simple.
Okay, so what's mission number 1 for the scenic traveler in Tobago? Where do you start?
Mission 1 has to be the icon. Pigeon Point. This is, it's the definition of the Caribbean postcard beach. The water is that impossible shade of clear turquoise. The sand is powder white and pristine. And it features that incredibly famous Instantly recognizable thatch-roofed jetty stretching out into the calm sea. You've definitely seen pictures of it.
Oh, yeah, that jetty is iconic. Is it crowded?
It can be popular, yeah. There's actually a small entrance fee to get into the Pigeon Point Heritage Park area.
Interesting.
But honestly, it's entirely worth it. The fee goes towards maintaining the immaculate facilities, bathrooms, changing rooms, little food stalls, and preserving that absolutely picture-perfect scenery. It's the ideal place to just settle in on day one, unwind, maybe grab a swim, and just adjust your internal clock to Tobago time.
Sounds perfect. But what's the really unforgettable, unique Tobago experience
Yeah.
beyond the perfect beach?
For that, you need to get out on the water. The truly unique must-do thing is the boat trip out to the Nylon Pool and the Buku Reef.
Nylon pool. Tell me more.
Okay, so the tour usually starts with a glass bottom boat. They take you out over the Buku Reef Marine Park first so you can see the coral formations and the fish below. That's pretty cool in itself.
Nice.
But the real destination, the thing that makes the memory really stick, is the Nylon Pool. What it is. It's this surprisingly large, incredibly shallow, crystal clear sandbar that's located way out in the middle of the ocean, like miles from the shore.
In the middle of the ocean. Serious.
Seriously. The water is only about waist deep, maybe chest deep in places, and the sand underneath your feet is unbelievably soft and white.
Wow, that sounds surreal.
It feels completely surreal. You jump off the side of the boat into this vast, warm, turquoise swimming pool that just happens to be in the middle of the sea. The sunlight refracts off the white sand bottom, making the water glow. Local legend even says the water has rejuvenating properties.
Yeah.
Whether you believe that or not.
Huh. Maybe worth a try.
Right. But it's just this moment of profound, almost isolated beauty, floating there, surrounded by nothing but clear water and sky. It really distinguishes the Tobago experience. It's magical.
Okay, nylon pool, definitely on the list. What about for the more adventurous type? Anything beyond the beach and boat tours?
Oh, yes. For the adventurer, or just the nature lover, Tobago offers the Main Ridge Forest Reserve. And this isn't just, a pretty patch of trees. This is actually the oldest legally protected rainforest reserve in the entire Western Hemisphere. It was established way back in 1776.
1776. Wow, that's incredible historical significance.
It really is. And that designation alone tells you how important this ecosystem is. Taking a guided hike here is pretty much essential to appreciate it properly. You're literally walking through centuries of preserved, unique tropical forest ecology. The guides can point out endemic birds, plants, explain the history.
What's it like hiking there?
It's lush, dense, often quite misty up in the hills. It requires some genuine effort, proper shoes, water, maybe some bug spray. It's a real rainforest hike. But the payoff, understanding you're in such a historically vital and biodiverse place, is immense.
Okay, so Tobago offers both ultimate relaxation and some serious natural adventure.
Exactly. It's the serene counterpoint to Trinidad's energy. Now, we should probably shift gears a bit towards some critical thinking, some necessary caveats. We've covered all the amazing upsides, but a proper deep dive means we also need to talk realistically about maybe what to skip and, importantly, how to plan for safe and savvy travel.
Right. This raises an important question.
It does. And based on just how different these two islands are, how complex the duality is, the very first thing you should probably skip is trying to rush it.
Good point. Don't try to do both islands in like a single long weekend.
Please don't. Under any circumstances, don't try to cram both Trinidad and Tobago into a trip that's only, say, 3 or 4 days total. The destinations are just too distinct. They demand different mindsets, different logistics. If you attempt to rush it, you'll spend half your precious time just traveling between them, packing, unpacking, dealing with transfers.
And you'll miss the actual vibe of each place.
Exactly.
Huh.
You won't get into the rhythm of kinetic Trinidad or tranquil Tobago. You'll just leave feeling frazzled, probably stressed, and definitely not enriched.
So what's the minimum recommended time then?
Our recommendation remains pretty firm on this. Treat it almost like 2 separate short holidays that happen to be connected by that quick flight. You really need to give Trinidad at least 3 full days, minimum, to even begin to scratch the surface of the culture, the food scene, maybe a nature trip like Asa, right?
Okay, 3 days Trinidad.
And then give Tobago at least another 3 full days for that essential decompression, hitting Pigeon Point, doing the Nylon Pool tour, maybe a rainforest hike. You need that time to actually feel the tranquility.
6 days minimum for a balanced trip then. Makes sense.
Yeah, anything less feels like shortchanging both experiences. Okay, second thing that often pops up on itineraries, but maybe doesn't always deliver the best bang for your buck, time-wise, The Pitch Lake in Trinidad.
Ah, the asphalt lake.
Oh.
I've read about that. It sounds incredibly unique.
It is unique, no doubt about it. It's a genuine geological marvel, the largest natural deposit of asphalt anywhere in the world. It actually slowly replenishes itself. It's a site of real scientific interest located way down in the southwest part of Trinidad.
Okay, that sounds impressive, so why skip it?
Well, here's the skip verdict, at least for most travelers on a limited schedule. While it is scientifically fascinating, getting there involves a very long drive. It can eat up most of a day, depending on traffic leaving Port of
It's a
Spain.
little day trip.
Pretty much. And then visually, for the average person, the non-geologist, you're generally looking at what most sources describe, maybe a bit unkindly, as a vast gray, slightly bubbly parking lot.
Oh, okay. Not exactly scenic wonder.
Not in the traditional sense, no. So the time trade-off hours in a car versus, say, spending those hours immersed in the vibrant city life or exploring the incredible wildlife of the northern range, it just doesn't usually balance out unless you have a very specific, deep interest in geology.
But wait, isn't there some historical significance? Didn't they pave streets around the world with asphalt from there? Does the sheer novelty of standing on the world's biggest natural tar pit not justify the trip for some people?
That's a fair challenge. Yes, it absolutely carries historical weight. Sir Walter Raleigh cocked his ships with it centuries ago. And yeah, it provided paving material for cities like Washington, D.C. and London back in the day. But again, for a traveler with maybe only 3 or 4 days in Trinidad, it comes down to priorities. If you have to choose between spending hours in a car to see the Pitch Lake versus spending those hours sitting on the veranda at Asa Wright watching hundreds of hummingbirds.
Yeah, okay, I see the dilemma.
The overwhelming cultural and scenic reward for most people is likely going to lie with Asa Wright or exploring Port of Spain or hearing a steel pan band. So we'd say the Pitch Lake is the prime candidate for skipping if your schedule is tight. Prioritize depth of experience over just geological novelty.
That makes sense. Prioritizing the experiences that really deliver on the TNT promise. Okay, finally, and this is important, we need to be practical about safety, particularly thinking about the urban energy of Port of Spain.
Right. We have to acknowledge reality. Trinidad, and especially Port of Spain as a major city and economic hub, does face crime challenges. Just like pretty much any large metropolis around the world, this absolutely requires you to be a savvy, aware traveler. Not paranoid, but aware.
So what are the necessary precautions? The standard travel smarts.
Pretty much standard, but vital to reiterate. Always be acutely aware of your surroundings. Pay attention, especially in crowded places like markets or particularly after dark. Common sense stuff. Refrain from overtly flashing expensive jewelry, big cameras, wads of cash, or high-end electronics. Just be discreet.
And getting around.
Crucially important. Always use licensed, vetted taxis or reputable pre-booked hired drivers, especially at night. Don't just hop into any car. And avoid walking alone in deserted streets or unfamiliar areas late at night. Basic city smarts, really.
So it requires necessary mindfulness, like you'd use in London or New York or any big city.
Exactly.
But taking those precautions allows you safe access to all those immense cultural rewards we've been talking about.
Precisely. It's about being smart, not scared. The rewards far outweigh the need for sensible caution.
Okay. So let's try and bring this all together. Let's synthesize this duality. What's the real lasting feeling, the vibration, that these two very different islands leave you with?
Trinidad. Trinidad is pulsing. It feels loud sometimes, wonderfully chaotic other times. It's brimming with fiercely held opinions, vibrant politics, this incredible kinetic, creative energy bursting out everywhere. It feels authentic, sometimes a little rough around the edges maybe, but it feels real. It wasn't built just for a tourist gaze. It feels built for its own people, by its own people, and that authenticity is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, you feel that immediately. It's not sanitized.
Not at all. And then you make that quick leak over to Tobago, and the air just changes. You can almost feel the pressure drop. The vibration becomes low, slow. The rhythm is suddenly governed by the tide, by the pace of small village life.
It's the sound of the waves.
The sound of the wind in the palms, the quiet chatter of fishermen mending nets, the birds in the forest reserve. It's just this profound sense of simplicity, of deep-earned tranquility.
So the visitor has to be ready, willing to embrace both ends of that spectrum.
Right. Absolutely. You have to be ready for the challenging, sometimes demanding, but ultimately thrilling chaos of Trinidad, and also ready to receive the necessary restorative, deep calm of Tobago. It's the full spectrum experience packed into one nation.
Which brings us right back to that core question, the final verdict. Is this dual island trip With its logistical split, its need for savvy planning, is it worth it?
Our conclusion, a resounding yes, absolutely worth it. But with that crucial filter we talked about, it comes with an important condition.
Right. We need to be really clear about who this destination is probably not the best fit for.
Okay. This is emphatically not for the traveler, whose top priority is a perfectly polished, completely predictable, 5-star, all-inclusive bubble experience where everything is seamless and, frankly, sanitized. If maximum ease of transaction and zero friction are your absolute highest priorities, TNT is likely going to present some challenges that might frustrate you.
Okay. So who is TNT for? Who's going to absolutely love this place?
TNT is tailor-made for the curious traveler, the adventurous eater, the sophisticated foodie who gets genuinely thrilled by tasting history on a plate from a street stall.
Yeah.
It's for the music lover who wants to feel the bass of the steel pan in their chest. It's for the passionate bird watcher seeking unique species. It's for the cultural enthusiast who wants to dive deep. It's for the person who appreciates, who values. A destination that is complex, maybe a little challenging, but deeply flavorful and completely unapologetically itself.
Someone who finds beauty in authenticity, even if it's not always perfectly convenient.
Exactly. The challenges, we've mentioned the traffic in Port of Spain, the potential for a rough ferry ride if you choose that, the extra step of the inter-island flight. There are real components of the journey. You have to factor them in. But the payoff, the sheer cultural depth and richness of Trinidad is simply unmatched in most of the Caribbean. It's unique. And the pristine, low-key, natural beauty of Tobago serves as the absolute essential, perfect antidote to that energy. It's the cool down, the integration space.
It really is a place that engages all your senses, doesn't it? Simultaneously sometimes. It's the kind of place, I think, that really gets under your skin, in a good way. It stays with you long after you've unpacked your bags back home.
Absolutely.
It embeds itself as this powerful, lasting memory, precisely because it offered you something genuine, something real, not just a manufactured tourist product.
Well said. If you seek that authenticity, if you crave cultural immersion, if you enjoy the thrill of navigating a destination that clearly exists on its own terms for itself, you will find few better places on earth than Trinidad and Tobago.
So the final word. We strongly encourage you, start planning. Give yourself the necessary time for both islands. Definitely find a local panyard and listen to the steel pans practice.
Yeah.
And absolutely, positively, above all else, eat the doubles. Lots of them.
Couldn't agree more. Eat the doubles.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.